OpenAI just shipped a new GPT 5.5 model that's 23% more accurate and 20% faster for agentic workflows. But the real story, the one that should keep builders up at night, is why you need to audit your own AI for silent degradation. We're also diving into Google's new enterprise agent platform with cryptographic identities, what Tesla's massive $2 billion AI hardware acquisition means for the compute stack, and how personal AI trading agents are democratizing fintech. No BS AI briefing brought to you by Proactive AI. Welcome back. I'm your host Vikas Sharma, and this is where builders get straightforward AI news without the fluff. First up, OpenAI has released GPT 5.5 and they're pitching it as reasoning optimized for agentic workflows. In plain English, this means we're seeing a significant jump in reliability and speed for models designed to do things, not just answer questions. Specifically, GPT 5.5 boasts a 23% factual accuracy improvement over its predecessor, GPT 5.4, and a noticeable reduction in those pesky hallucinations that can derail an agent's tasks. And here's the kicker for performance-minded builders: token generation speed is up by 20%. For builders, the interesting part isn't just the raw power, it's the enterprise validation. Third-party auditors like SecureBio, UK ISE, and Apollo Research have put GPT 5.5 through its paces, giving it a stamp of approval that's crucial for regulated or high-stakes applications. Think about the implications for internal business processes or even customer-facing agents where factual accuracy and speed are non-negotiable. This 20% speed boost also translates directly into lower API costs and snappier response times, making more complex agentic operations financially viable. Next, Google Cloud has launched its Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform, complete with cryptographic agent identity. What happened here is Google's directly addressing the looming agent sprawl problem that enterprises are already starting to face. They're introducing unique cryptographic identities for every AI agent and a centralized agent gateway. Think of it like a digital passport and a secure border control for your AI workforce. This platform includes model armor protections, which are designed to safeguard against prompt injection attacks and prevent data leakage, alongside secure connectivity via industry standards like MCP and A2A. For builders, this isn't just about security, it's about governance at scale. That cryptographic identity and central gateway mean you can actually track, audit, and enforce policies on your AI agents, making compliance and accountability achievable in complex enterprise environments. It's a move towards a zero-trust posture for AI, giving engineering leaders and product managers a much-needed framework to deploy agents without constant fear of rogue behavior or data breaches. Also in the news, Anthropic published a candid post-mortem revealing how silent changes degraded Claude Code quality. This is huge because it pulls back the curtain on a very real, very frightening problem for anyone relying on large language models. What happened was a confluence of three seemingly minor internal changes. The default reasoning effort for Claude shifted from high to medium. A caching bug started stripping crucial context from turns in conversations, and a system prompt change inadvertently reduced coding quality by 3%. I mean, think about that for a second. A 3% drop without obvious red flags. All these issues were resolved by April 20th, but the transparency in their post-mortem highlights critical testing gaps and the insidious nature of silent degradation. For builders, this is a profound monitoring lesson. It tells us that benchmarks alone aren't enough. You absolutely need to pair those quantitative metrics with qualitative user feedback, actively looking for what they call perception drift. It's a rare moment of transparency in the AI world, and it underscores the necessity for vigilance in managing black box model dependencies. Moving on, Tesla has quietly disclosed a massive $2 billion AI hardware acquisition. This came through their Q1 2026 10Q SEC filing. What happened is an agreement to acquire an unnamed AI hardware company for up to $2 billion in stock, with a significant portion, $1.8 billion, to be precise, tied directly to deployment milestones. This signals a very aggressive and calculated push by Tesla towards in-house AI infrastructure. We're talking specialized semiconductors and proprietary stacks for their autonomy initiatives. For builders, this matters because it validates the strategic importance of the entire compute stack, not just the model. If you're a hardware vendor, this opens up massive opportunities. If you're a startup relying solely on cloud based compute, this could be a sign of future pressure as big players vertically integrate. It's a clear indication that for deployed systems like robotics and autonomous vehicles, owning the hardware layer is becoming a critical differentiator. Finally, today, Moomoo has launched API skills for personal AI trading agents. This is pretty fascinating because it's democratizing sophisticated financial tools for retail investors. What happened is that individuals can now connect their personal AI agents directly to trading platforms using natural language. They can backtest strategies, conduct paper trading, and eventually execute real trades, all driven by their own AI. What's really compelling here and a big win for user privacy is that credentials are kept local using OpenD technology. For builders, this highlights a powerful agent UX pattern, natural language to executable strategies. It shows how agents can bridge complex domains, making them accessible to a wider audience. The local credential handling is a privacy first approach that could set a new standard for sensitive applications. This is a strong use case in the highly regulated fintech industry, demonstrating clear real world value for agentic workflows. If you're finding this useful, hit follow in your podcast app right now. It takes 2 seconds and it's the best way to make sure you don't miss the next briefing. Now, for our deep dive today, I want to double back to Anthropic's Claude Code post-mortem and talk about why silent degradation is, in my opinion, your biggest risk as a builder right now. What happened was a candid admission from Anthropic, their Claude Code model, a widely used tool for developers, quietly started performing worse between March and April 2026. This wasn't some catastrophic outage, it was a subtle, insidious decline. The culprit? 3 seemingly minor changes. First, the default reasoning effort parameter shifted from high to medium, essentially telling the model to think less deeply. Second, a caching bug meant the model wasn't retaining context from previous turns in a conversation, making multi-step coding tasks fall apart. And third, a small tweak to the system prompt reduced coding quality by 3%. The scary part? Benchmarks didn't initially catch these regressions. It was user reports of perception drift that flagged the issue. Why this matters right now is critical for anyone building with AI. This isn't a theoretical problem, it's a real-world demonstration of how easily product quality can erode when you're reliant on black box models. Small, seemingly innocuous updates from your model provider or even internal changes to your own prompts and configs can lead to a slow, silent degradation of your product's core functionality. This doesn't just impact user experience, it chips away at trust, increases support tickets, and ultimately can lead to churn. It highlights a fundamental vulnerability in the AI as a service paradigm. You're building on shifting sands if you don't have your own robust monitoring. So who should really care about this? I'd say everyone, but especially K-Cool founders because your product's reputation and user retention are directly tied to consistent AI quality. A silent dip can cost you customers before you even know what hit you. Product managers need to care deeply because user reported drift is a critical signal that benchmarks often miss. Your job is to understand the perceived value, not just the metrics. For engineering leaders, this is a call to action to design systems that continuously validate model performance in real-world scenarios, going beyond simple test sets. And even indie hackers working on smaller projects should understand that external model updates can break their workflows in subtle ways, requiring a different approach to testing and monitoring. How I think about it as a builder, given this Anthropic disclosure, is that you simply cannot blindly trust external model updates or even your own internal changes without rigorous real world validation. My mental model for this is that your AI application isn't a static piece of software. It's a living organism whose core intelligence can subtly degrade over time, like a plant slowly losing its leaves without anyone noticing until it's too late. The opportunity here is to build incredibly sophisticated observability tools that track not just latency and error rates, but also qualitative shifts in output quality. This means investing in user feedback loops, A B testing variations of prompts, and creating ablation tests to isolate the impact of every change. The risk, of course, is ignoring this. If you're not actively looking for silent degradation, it will find you and it'll happen at the worst possible time. My no BS take on this is simple. This isn't hype, it's a vital, uncomfortable truth about building with LLMs. Providers are doing their best, but they can't manage the perception of quality within your specific product context. That responsibility falls squarely on your shoulders. You have to build the guardrails, the feedback loops, and the validation processes to ensure your AI products consistently deliver. If you want one practical takeaway from today's episode, here it is. Audit your model's recent changes for silent degradation. This isn't a theoretical exercise, it's about protecting your product and your users right now. Here's how to try it in under 60 minutes. First, pull your last 90 days of deployment logs. That means digging into your version control system for prompt changes, checking your API logs for any model version bumps, and reviewing any config changes you've made. Second, at the same time, pull all your user feedback for that same 90-day period. Look at support tickets, sentiment analysis from reviews, or any qualitative feedback channels you have. Map these changes to that sentiment data. Did a significant drop in user satisfaction or a spike in error reports coincide with a model, prompt, or config update that your automated alerts totally missed? Third, for any suspicious periods or changes, design a quick ablation test. Take a few representative user tasks or inputs that performed poorly and then rerun those workflows with both the old configuration or model version and the new one. Document the trade-offs, quantify the degradation if it exists, and share those findings with your team. Why this specific experiment is worth your time right now? It's not just about preventing regressions, it's about building resilience and trust with your users. Users will notice when quality dips, even if your metrics initially don't. This proactive auditing turns a potential disaster into a crucial learning opportunity, ensuring your AI products actually deliver on their promise consistently. That's it for today's No BS AI briefing. If this helped, follow the show in your podcast app and share it with one builder, And if you've got questions or topics you want covered, connect with me on LinkedIn and send them over. See you in the next briefing.